Samsung has been a strong contender in the smartphone photography game for a while, but they decided to take it to a next level with a bold move when they launched the S7 series. They actually decided to reduce the megapixel count and focus on improving the image quality as well as the low light performance. A year later, they knew they had the right balance of hardware but made use of software processing to take it a step further, like Google had done with the Pixel series. Samsung did receive some flack for not upgrading the hardware per se, but the benefits were big even with just better processing. Now they've added a dual camera system in a flagship for the first time with the Note 8, and that should add another dimension to the already good camera setup. Let's see how the Note 8 fares in real world conditions. The Note 8 features the same 12MP primary camera with 1x2.55" sensor size, f1.7 aperture, 1.5 micron pixel size and 26mm focal length. It also packs in OIS as well as a dual pixel autofocus system, which is still one of the fastest on the market, and it does a much better job at focusing on objects and even racking focus than laser autofocus or traditional PDAF. In terms of image quality, the Note 8 is pretty much identical to the Galaxy S8. The shutter speeds are near instantaneous, and the focus too helps to almost always get a shot that is in focus. The dynamic range is impressive in both the regular as well as HDR mode, and the HDR mode uses image stacking to provide one of the best dynamic ranges available. It involves combining several frames of photos of different exposures together to create an image that has a dynamic range that is much higher than what's possible with conventional processing. And since the camera is actually capturing images all the time even before you hit the shutter button, there is no shutter lag as well. Colors tend to be a bit more saturated than normal, however, and that's more likely to please users than annoy them, and I personally don't mind a bit more saturation as well unless it goes overboard. Sharpness is pretty good across the frame, but there is a bit of loss in detail due to the noise reduction. If you truly want to get the maximum detail, it's best to shoot in RAW, and you can even recover data from the shadows as well as play with the image to get the output you desire. Low light images are also pretty good in terms of quality as well as noise performance. However, like with daytime photos, it is advisable to use the manual mode and shoot in RAW to get the best possible results. The telephoto lens provides 2x optical zoom with a focal length of 52mm. Like the main camera, the telephoto 2 is a bit wider than the 56mm telephoto lens of the iPhone 7 Plus. Samsung is the first maker to implement an OIS system for the telephoto lens, and now Apple has followed suit. It has an identical 12MP resolution but a smaller f2.4 aperture. The sensor is smaller as well, with a size of 1x3.6 inches and 1 micron pixel size. While the low light performance isn't as good as the primary sensor, the OIS on the telephoto lens allows for a longer exposure without shakes or blurring in order to allow more light in. The focus too isn't as fast as the primary one since it is missing the dual pixel autofocus system that the primary one has. The selective focus mode of the S8 series and other Samsung phones is no longer there. Instead, you get a portrait mode that makes use of the telephoto lens. It's called live focus on the Note 8 though. The blurring algorithm is mostly great. Together with the colors, the images produced have a really nice shallow depth of field with creamy bokeh. Even though there are no issues 95% of the time, the remaining 5% of the time you do see some issues with edges where blurring hasn't been applied perfectly. I would also like to mention that we're currently running the latest software version and that the algorithm can be improved, especially since there is only a bit more to be done. However, as of now, the blurring itself is secondary to Apple's algorithm. The low light performance of the live focus mode is better than that of the iPhone 7 Plus, but even the Note 8 may not perform too well if the light is inadequate. There's a drop in terms of brightness of the exposed image using the live focus mode too, and while you can adjust the intensity, it's not possible to adjust the brightness in live focus mode. The best part of live focus mode is that you can adjust the intensity of the blur after the fact, and you can even save photos taken by both the cameras together using the dual capture mode. The front-facing camera is also quite impressive in terms of the dynamic range and the colors. It is an 8MP f1.7 unit with 1.22 micron pixel size and 1x3.6 inch sensor size that has a field of view of 80 degrees. It supports HDR mode as well, but the shutter time is a bit longer and you have to be quite still to get optimum sharpness. The selective focus mode is still here and it takes pretty good photos, and the algorithm is quite good too. The bokeh is creamy as well. There's a wide selfie mode as well that stitches photos together using the front camera, and you can even convert it into a video clip that retraces the panning. The same can also be done with the primary camera in panorama mode, and it can stitch together a massive frame and even make it into an animated video. Both the rear-facing cameras support 4K video recording at 30fps, and both even feature stabilization. The primary camera captures beautiful footage in terms of the colors as well as the detail and stability. The focus tracking is also super smooth and fast on the primary camera. However, the telephoto lens does tend to take a while to rack focus because it lacks the dual pixel AF, but it still does recognize the objects fast. You can also capture 9MP stills when taking videos. One thing you need to keep in mind is the focusing distance of the telephoto lens, because if you're too close, it may not lock focus. Note 8 also supports 1080p 60fps, hyperlapse and slow motion. Hyperlapse is available in different speed settings and also has stabilization. The front-facing camera too supports a maximum resolution of 1440p in terms of video. However, videos up to 1080p are supported with stabilization, and stabilization works pretty well here as well. The camera UI is more or less similar to what you would find on the S8 and most other Samsung devices. However, some elements have been rearranged and some have been added, including the live focus mode and the dual capture option that saves photos from both the cameras for each shot. There's even a quick toggle that allows you to switch aspect ratio from 4:3 to 18.5:9 in one click. However, they have annoyingly moved the HDR toggle into the settings menu, and there doesn't seem to be a way to have a quick toggle in the main screen. While it's probably easier to leave HDR turned on always and be benefited from it, it would still be good if they bring back the toggle in a future firmware update, especially since there is room for more toggles. Samsung Galaxy Note 8 is meant to be more of a workhorse and productivity machine than any other device on the market. The dual camera system manages to take everything that's right and good with the S8 Duo and improve it by adding an additional focal length as well as a portrait mode into the mix that makes it one of the most versatile and capable camera phones on the market. If you love taking photos and videos and truly believe that the best camera is the one you have with you, then you would be pretty impressed with the Note 8. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to get the latest updates from us. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one.